In the last video, we created this HTML file that opened up this web page when executed. Looking at this file, we see there is blue text and there's black text. With that said, the blue text in this file is the markup language part of Hypertext Markup Language, or HTML. Notice down here in the Notepad++ window, we see it says exactly that, Hypertext Markup Language file. Notepad++ knows this is an HTML file because we saved it with the .html file extension in the last video, and because we did that, Notepad++ will automatically color the text in this file as we write it as a basic aid for us to distinguish the different components of the file. Alright, so we have an HTML file with all the markup language so far distinguished in blue. The blue text is all various HTML elements. HTML elements are what give a web page its structure. Now there are a good amount of HTML elements, over 100, some being used more often than others. All have their individual purposes, and you won't need to learn all of them to create a great web page. In fact, you only need to know a small percentage of them, but that shouldn't stop you from learning as many as you can. Let's look at the tag at the top of the file, the HTML tag. This begins the root element of an HTML file, the HTML element that wraps all the content of this HTML file. Notice at the end of the file, we have the end tag of the HTML element. While start tags are commonly paired with an end tag, not all elements consist of two separate tags. Some can be one tag, and some two tag pairs can sometimes be written in shorthand using only one tag. All elements in this file, however, are composed of a start tag and end tag pair, with the only difference of the two being an added backslash at the beginning of the end tag name. The last thing to add about the HTML tag is that it is good practice to add the lang attribute. Now we will discuss attributes further in this series, but for now just know that HTML elements can have attributes. The HTML element can take an attribute of lang, which allows us to specify the language of the website. This is included to help screen translators in communicating the page for anyone that may have any kind of impairments that may affect how they access a web page. So we'll go ahead and specify that our website is in English by typing lang equals, then in quotes we'll type en. And by doing so, the translator programs will be able to better translate this page when necessary. Notice the attribute name and value have a distinct color as well. This pattern continues for all attribute name and values. This is called syntax highlighting, by the way. Next, we have the head element. The head element should always be the first element within an HTML element. The head element will contain text that will describe our website to a web browser or any tech interacting with it. For example, the title element allows us to change what is displayed in the tab of a web browser. If we change this here to ABC123, save the file and refresh this page here, notice the text in the tab changed to what we set in the title element. Other elements that might be contained in the head element are meta elements or simply meta tags, with this being one of the elements that only requires one tag. Multiple meta tags are commonly used to represent website metadata, using various meta tag attributes. Without getting too deep into this, as it is unnecessary for the purpose of this video, one benefit of using meta tags is to improve your website's position on search engine rankings. Other elements that may be contained within the head element may import other files into the HTML document for various purposes that we will cover in future videos. The last element we are going to talk about in this video is the body element. The body element comes after the head element and will essentially contain all the HTML used to create the content of our website. Looking at our website, there are two elements within the body element, a header element and a paragraph element, which we will discuss more in the next video. Before we end this video, one last thing to add to this file to inform the browser running it what kind of document it is this declaration at the top. This is the basic structure for any HTML page. Any combinations of elements can be added to create an infinite amount of web pages, and we will continue building on top of this one in the next video.